Hello everybody, Antibeter1M here and welcome to my channel. In this video I want to talk about the idea of defamation, um, naming people on social media and privacy concerns. So those who know me really well, and probably you don't know me about this, is that I believe that privacy is not a real issue in the current society that we live in. I much more believe in greater accountability than I do in privacy. But I do believe in privacy for certain things, like your personal address, how much money you have. That sort of thing can be quite sort of fickle and make you susceptible to people who don't have your best interests in mind. So yes, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I do believe that telling the truth all the time is not a good thing. But having said that, I do believe that that we live in an interconnected society, and for that reason, we should be allowed to name other people, even our friends, and call them out for certain things and qualify how we feel about them. So I named a few people in recently on a couple of Facebook posts and talked about how they are my favorite messenger interactants. So I mentioned four people, and I'll name their first names now. Mariah, Eva, Taran, and Benjamin. So if you look at one of my recent Facebook posts, you'll note that I did mention them fully by name. Now, obviously this is controversial and it does have certain implications. It means that other people, no matter how good or bad they are, can track those people down and interact with them themselves if they so desire. It gives the power to the public. It allows people to access random people as such, and it could lead to some sort of debacle and something like that, controversies and that sort of thing, and upset people and that sort of thing. But all in all, I believe that anti-privacy is pretty much a good thing. Now, the interesting thing about me is that I rarely change my opinion on anything. But one thing that has changed a little bit about myself is that I no longer am very afraid of video surveillance cameras. I used to be, but I've kind of moderated my fear of them somewhat. And I'm not particularly afraid of tracking people being tracked down, that sort of thing. I know it can be used maliciously. I also believe that there are very many people in this world, however, who are rather overprotective of their own privacy. And that's just what I believe. I feel that people are overprotective and are too scared to show themselves and to just say what the truth is about themselves. I know that the truth can be misused, and in a society where people believe in witchcraft or something, sometimes you can, be condemned for believing the wrong things. But in this society, when we have freedom of speech, relatively so, I believe that being able to say what we like is not only a skill, sometimes it's an obligation to say what we believe in, which is why I don't really believe in privacy. So one of the reasons which I'm making this video is because I'm meeting up with a friend who I'm going to name by their first name, named Charlotte. I've actually known three people by the name of Charlotte recently. It's quite interesting that three people with the name of Charlotte have made their way into my life recently. But this Charlotte person, who's also transsexual, is a really decent kind of person. And I wanted to point out that I really do admire everything that she's said in our conversations and that sort of thing. She's very thoughtful, she's very insightful, she's very, I would say, considerate. Although I don't know her very well, but I see everything about her as someone who's considerate about the world around her and about the people around her. She's just the sort of person who I would like to be with more often. And, so I'm calling her out, not in a negative way, but in a positive way, to say that, okay, there are some things that we could really gel with. I think she's open to the prospect of becoming vegan, for example. And I've impressed her with that sort of idea, probably a little bit too much. I've given her too much material during our online or kind of like messaging interactions. And that's one thing that I think I can improve on, is that I shouldn't give people so much to think about all at once. It's hard for me to abstain from that, because I'm an online activist. I'm a vehement vegan activist. But when people are just starting out and they're trying to form ideas in their mind and they're very open to new ideas, it's very good to give them the idea that they're thinking about things of their own volition. So this is one thing about education, is that you should make people think that they're having the ideas themselves, and that the ideas are somewhat original. So they think that they're thinking originally, even though that may not always be the case. Humans are wired to believe, to want to believe that what they're thinking all the time is highly original. So this is what I want to do with Charlotte, is to make her think, but to allow her, facilitate her thinking, and to inspire her thinking, but to allow her to think things in her own terms. So folks, I mentioned Charlotte in this video. I think she's going to be part of my life, which is fantastic. I don't think there's, particularly sexual attraction towards each other, but I think she values my ethics and I value her open-mindedness. So we'll see how things go from there. Okay, folks, I hope you got something really good out of this video, and I will see you next time with more information and interesting things to talk about. Bye for now.